The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle. With your hosts, Nico and Ellen Haan. Now, Nico and Ellen Haan.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And good morning, I'm Ellen Haan.
It's a beautiful morning in downtown St. Petersburg. Actually, it's very warm, 81 degrees.
Yeah,
Humidity's
it's a little
okay, but it's typical summer weather, so we like that. Folks, get started. I'd like to remind you, if I can find my cursor here, to pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder. This gives you all the health you need, folks. Fulvic and humic acid. That's the thing right now, because this takes the good stuff in
and lets the bad stuff out.
That's right, and that's really important. Of course, our Health Signals newsletter, got that one right here. And the last one asked the question, should I get tested for coronavirus, just for the heck of it? And of course, this follows the show, so it
helps you dig deeper into
all the articles that we talk about, and that's what we're doing here, is kind of deconstructing the health news, and we're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And right now we're going to be talking about wearing masks, and typically Ellen and I don't wear a mask when we go out unless it's like a huge crowd. Then we would.
And we don't
certainly
go to huge crowds.
And
really,
that's the basic thing, is we're not going to go to huge crowds. We see huge crowds kind of run away from it. But people have been opposed to masks mandates and have even staged protests. And one local health official in Orange County even quit her job over it, kind of silly stuff. In Texas, the governor, Greg Abbott, recently allowed some counties to impose the mandates of masks in certain businesses. Probably a smart thing for a lot of people. So
we don't wear a mask like to the grocery store.
Right. But
we're also trying to get some exposure. We're trying not to isolate ourselves to the point where we become hyper.
Well, we don't go into somebody's face and talk to them. I mean, we do sensible things, I think a mask is a good idea. I mean, you can even use that tape stuff that we use, to stop snoring, and mud duct tape would work just as well. I mean, it wouldn't look as good, perhaps, but at least you could see a little more expression on your face, and that's the real thing that I don't like.
Yeah, the point about the mask is, the way to catch the virus is either in your nose or your mouth, really.
Right. Makes sense.
It's not easily picked up from a surface. It's not easily picked up from clothing. It's not.
But they've demonstrated when you talk, I mean, the particulates go out there. Those particulates are, if you're infested, those particulates have that in there.
Infected.
Infected, yeah. Or infested, who knows.
But covering your mouth if you feel ill or if you think you might have been exposed, it helps everybody else.
Sure. Take an example, a meta-analysis of 172 studies looking at various interventions to prevent the transmission of the COVID-19, SARS, and MERS from an infected person to people close to them. It's been published in The Lancet on June 1st. Most of these studies...
Well, it found that the mask significantly reduced the risk of viral transmission.
Yeah, now most of these studies are done in hospital settings, not out in the open.
Okay.
But I think it makes sense that if you're close to people, in a crowd of people, if you wear the mask, it's going to help spread it, or not spread it, for sure.
Yeah, and people are not sensible about where they stand, and they forget. I mean, how many years of your life have you spent just walking around and being near people?
Yeah.
And it's not easy to remember to kind of give someone a little bit wider berth when you pass them on the aisle in the grocery store.
Right. And that's why they have the one-way aisles and things like that.
Yeah, but if somebody's standing there looking at the shelf, you're still going to have to go around them, and you're going to be less than 6 feet away from them when you do.
Yeah, but you're behind them. Researchers emphasize there are two main reasons to wear masks. There's some evidence for protection for the wearer, but stronger evidence is that the mask protects others from catching an infection from a person wearing the mask, and the infected people can spread the virus just by talking. So if you're talking, when things are coming out of your mouth, they're coming out of your mouth fast. They're going to slam into the cloth mask. And I think that's the low-quality mask can block even some of these things. So there's a lot of different types of masks that people are wearing. Some people just wear the gaiter and pull it up when they're talking to you. you know, I think it's common courtesy. If you're getting close to a person, maybe that's the thing to do right now for a little while.
And if you feel at all ill, you know, stay home. That's another thing. It doesn't. There's a lot of other things going around right now. There's regular flu. There's allergies. There are other kinds of. This common cold is always around, and if you don't feel well, don't go out.
The more people that were wearing a mask, the more protective it was. That you're saying. Yeah. There's lots of different studies. Another study in the journal Cell suggested that coronavirus may first establish itself in the nasal cavity before moving down into the lungs. And they've mentioned that before, so therefore rinsing your nose and things like that become important. Gargling, getting it out of your throat, perhaps. Those things are also good precautions.
Do you think that like apple cider vinegar gargle helps?
Yeah, definitely. Sure. It's just salt water alone has been proven to help.
Okay.
Of course, how much protection a mask provides, both to the wearers and the people around them, depends on the type of mask and whether you're wearing them properly. It has to cover your nose as well as the nose.
And I see a lot of people walking around with the mask over here. And it's like, okay, it's not coming out of your mouth, but it's going right in your nose if it's out there, you know.
N95S protects both the wearer and other people, but they're still in short supply and should be reserved for healthcare workers and emergency responders. Surgical masks are designed to protect the people from the wearer.
Right, so the doctors wear them, the nurses and all wear them in the operating room to protect the patient.
Who is open.
Exposed.
Exactly.
Exposed.
I think we need a combination of masks, distancing, avoiding crowds, avoiding poor ventilated spaces, says the author of this article. Even if one of those individuals' measures is only partially effective, by the time you add them all on top of each other, you have a better chance of reducing transmission.
Yeah, what we don't need is World War III based on whether or not you're wearing a mask. There's so much negativity right now. There's so much toxic behavior and so many worries and fears that it's. I don't need somebody saying to me or giving me a look if I'm not wearing a mask or if I am wearing a mask. You know, it's.
And I've had that happen to me. I was in a Whole Food a few weeks ago, and there was nobody in the store practically. It was very early, and they asked me, "Do you want to wear a mask?" I said no, and the person in front of me, was looking. Their eyes were rolling, and head was shaking, and you know, I'm nowhere near them, and I'm not talking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm keeping my mouth shut when I'm in the store.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. If I walk by a person and they're a little too close, I avert my face and I keep my mouth shut.
Right. So there's lots of ways we can do this. The masks are very uncomfortable. I think some of them are getting better. People who are wearing masks say that. Different styles and things like that. But there's still the problem that we talked about a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about face expressions and how we're searching for these. Yeah, and what happens is we're searching for those clues that we never get.
Yeah,
and it's exhausting.
Communication is exhausting, and it's also hard to hear. Sometimes the mask muffles the voice.
Right.
Other times it's just a matter of when you can't see a person's mouth moving.
You don't even know if they're talking.
You can't somehow connect the sound, and your brain doesn't translate.
Yeah, we are so used to all these little clues that we get from expression or non-expression, but they're there, and they're the warm, fuzzy feelings that we want.
The connection.
Yeah. Stick around, folks. We've got a lot more during the break. Of course, please pick up a Primal Edge and your One Shot Wonder, and we'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Chart allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
And welcome back to the show. The number here is 877-927-6648. Of course, you can reach both Ellen and I at Nico or Ellen at TFNN.com and Paige at TFNN.com if you'd like to talk to her. Reading from an article now, the Nobel scientist that says lockdown saves no lives and may have cost lives. And this is an interesting article. Of course, the lives that they're talking about that weren't saved were not necessarily from the COVID.
Yeah, this is an interesting...
the excess deaths?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the guy who wrote this, Professor Michael Levitt, is a British-American Israeli who won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 2013. He believes the flaws modeled by the Niall Ferguson of the Imperial College, upon which most nations and states based their lockdown strategies, led to a global panic virus that spread to political leaders and caused many more deaths from the social damage, including the domestic abuse, divorces, alcoholism.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that, but also he says in this article, in Europe, I don't think anything actually stopped the virus other than some kind of burnout. So a huge number of people who are asymptomatic. So I would seriously imagine that by the time lockdown was finally introduced in the UK, the virus was already widespread. And I think that's the point. He said other nations didn't lock down, could have stayed open like Sweden by that stage, and nothing would have happened.
Mm-hmm. He says, I think a happy medium could have been found where people could have continued to work in many industries with masks and social distancing, while at-risk citizens, the old, the obese, the sick, could have been and have stricter precautions. Can't even talk. But the thing is, this is what we talked about before, is that the damage that's done is much greater than the lives we save because we rely so much on being social animals. And the protection we get from that is really, really good. It's been proven. And in the past, we know that people have been put in leper colonies. They've been isolated for other infectious diseases. And if this is a highly infectious, but not as deadly, I would say. So it's very highly infectious, so you shouldn't be bringing people in to the mainstream. You should have the mainstream do their regular thing and those people isolated, not the people who are not sick isolated. And that's kind of what we've done. It's not really what we've done, but it sure feels that way in a way.
You know, this pandemic has resulted in widespread and with a capital F fear. And fear is now a 4-letter word.
And I would say that the fear really is the media doing this. And I'll give you a little example.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Because last night you read me a little article off of Facebook that my son put up there. And it says, if you want proof that the mainstream media and tech companies are trying to hide the truth from us, just go to Google and type in any 3-digit number followed by the words new cases and see what comes up. This will probably be taken down. He says, this is not my test. Credit to Adam Curry from the No Agenda Show, best podcast in the universe. Okay. So we did this.
Yeah.
And we did this with, 350, 52.
Any random
number,
numbers.
and you come up with various news stories.
45 news stories that use exactly that number.
I even tried 52,000, something like that, and 3 or 4 news. So the media has these algorithms, these logistical rhythms that they use for stories, and no matter what number you put in there, the COVID is going to come up.
Well, it's very interesting. There's another article here, how fear of a virus changed our world. And it starts with, fear is a primal biological response to a perceived threat to our survival. Fear triggers momentary paralysis and then a fight or flight reaction before the brain can rationally analyze and calibrate our response to a perceived threat. Now, fear, the response to fear, fight, or flight is supposed to be a very short-term thing. It's for survival. So either you're going to fight or you're going to run away, but then it's over.
Right.
But with this pandemic, it's not over.
That's right. It's not over.
And it just goes on day after day after day, and now it's been 3 months. And the other thing is, now if you have a hurricane and there's all kinds of damage, you can go somewhere else and be safe.
Right.
There's no place to go.
That's right. Of course, we're going to be on vacation in a few weeks.
But there's no place to go.
Right.
If we're going on vacation, we're thinking in terms, okay, we got to take face masks because we don't know which state is going to require us to wear a face mask when we go somewhere in that state. And we're going to stop for gasoline. We definitely need to wear it to go in and use the restroom, inside the gas station.
If you even want to use the restroom.
Yeah, well, I'm going to want to use the restroom.
That's true. But of course, we're going to Colorado, and we've got a lot of states in between. And we got to figure out where to go. And of course, Colorado is not locked down. And we should mention that the conference that we were going to is canceled now, which is a really sad thing, Observing the Frontier. And I was speaking at that, so I'm going to be putting up a video of my talk, send it to Ben and them. But, that's 3 more days that we would have been up there, that now we can actually do some exploring and things like that. So
yeah, because we've decided to go ahead and take a trip.
Yeah, we're definitely
get on
going
the road, sit in our cars without our masks on.
That's right. Even with the windows open, maybe sometime. Who knows?
Yeah, and interesting questions about the lockdown is worldwide. It's unprecedented. There has never been any kind of a lockdown like this on a worldwide basis. And they talk. There's an article in here about the what was it? A few different pandemics that have happened in the past that nobody locked down anything for, and they passed, and they had their results.
Well, they just isolate the people who are sick.
Yeah,
that's the normal thing to do.
And then we have, but fear is crippling us, and it's going to have long-term negative effects. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, as elected lawmakers in your state should choose a mandate. They say they choose to mandate a few or many vaccines with or without exceptions, while the federal government has the authority to mandate vaccines for all people. So is this something that's coming? This is another fear that people have. People want vaccines. Some people don't want vaccines. Right. I'm not sure if you and I would like to have a vaccine of this. No, right now, I would not. But, those things may change. I don't know.
They talked about the mortality estimates that far exceeded what actually happened, and that pretty much it's now they've determined that most of the people who died suffered from one or more chronic poor health conditions like heart or lung disease, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and more than 80% of the children who died also had chronic illness. And that's kind of scary on a few fronts, because why would a child have a chronic illness with diabetes or seizures or obesity.
Yeah.
I mean,
and here is an article that says the healthy teenager who took precautions died suddenly. Now, this is the healthy teenager. To me, he looks obese. If you scroll down to the family, most of the family also is overweight or obese. At least 2 or 3 of these people are obese.
And the article goes on to say he did have diabetes and he had some other underlying
yeah, so they're
health
calling
issues.
this person a healthy person when it doesn't look healthy, and if he has diabetes, that's definitely not healthy. So.
No, and I mean, nobody is happy that he died, but
No. No.
there are other things going on here at work.
Well, let's talk about those when we get back then. Stick around, folks. You can give us a call at 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the conversation. Otherwise, we'll see you in a minute.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the Taz Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The Taz Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, Taz understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the Taz Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the Taz Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Right before the break, we were talking about fear and what's happened with this whole coronavirus and the lockdown and all. But as a lawyer, I always think in legal terms. Mm-hmm. And for me, this is the law of unintended consequences. And it's really escalated, and the ripple effect is going to be crippling for many years to come. As you think about it, the meme is we're all in this together, but we're not. We're not actually all in this together from a political standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a financial standpoint. There's several classes of people these days. There's essential workers, there's non-essential workers. There are tens of millions of healthy Americans sheltered in place and self-quarantined, but they lost their jobs. Some of them, a lot of them lost their jobs.
And
as
maybe
a matter
permanently.
Of fact, 38 million Americans are unemployed now, which is almost a quarter of the entire labor force.
Right.
And they also, and it destroyed the mom and pop businesses. A lot of those little businesses will not reopen once because of being closed. It took things they worked their lifetime to create a business. And then people who had underlying health issues were afraid to go to the hospital. And so there were a number of deaths that
And then some hospitals said, don't come here.
Right. Right.
You know, if you got a broken arm, sorry. You know, have to go to a clinic somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the homeless rate it was projected to increase by 45%, with almost 1 million people homeless by this time of year. And what's going to happen with now? They put a moratorium on being able to foreclose or to evict. But what does that do?
It just ended on some of these places.
Well, what does that do to? No, it just got extended in Florida. It's extended, and no eviction for failure to pay rent. Well, I mean, I understand that's huge.
But the fear mounts because that's coming. That's in the future.
Well, not only that, but I'm an owner. Now I don't have any money coming in from that house or that apartment.
Or you might be able to get some relief for the. Through the state
so you apply for aid, and it's well, where's that money coming from? Magically appearing into your pocket?
They're printing it
just
already.
Printing that money in the basement,
That's right.
and we've got neglected children and battered women have been trapped for months in homes with their abusers. Depression, anxiety, and suicidal children calling hotlines has increased. Children and adults, nearly 900%, according to the study.
Yeah. I have a study here, a new paper published in the Journal of Trends in Cognitive Science explores the wide-ranging negative consequences that social isolation has on our physical well-being, but also our psychological. And he says a full picture is emerging of the severe impact that loneliness can have. Having strong interpersonal relationships is critical for survival across the entire lifespan. Social isolation is a significant predictor of risk of death. Insufficient social stimulation affects reasoning and memory performances, hormone homeostasis, brain gray-white matter, connectivity and function, as well as resilience to physical and mental diseases. Now, feeling of loneliness can spread through a social network, causing negatively skewed social perception, escalating morbidity and mortality, and in older people,
precipitating the onset of dementia.
Yes, and this is probably why we have dementia, because the old people are alone.
Well,
or they're with their own kind. Which
no points of reference,
right.
No
If you're with 80 people who are 90 years old, that's not good either, I'm saying.
Right, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and the same with the children. Like we were talking with Danny last week, that he thinks that people their own age when you're growing up is not the cool thing. You want a mixture so the kids can learn on the older ones. And because kids have no respect for the ones their own age. You know less than I do.
Yeah, and they also have no respect for anybody else because they're not exposed to other people.
That's right.
And if you stay isolated.
But you do respect that one that's 2 or 3 years older than you, that is the cool kid in
somebody you look up to, yeah. Well, and in addition to the physical and the emotional and psychosomatic or psychosocial aspects, there's been a tremendous impact on our personal freedoms and on the tenets on which this country was founded, when you think about it. As, telling you you have to stay in your house and you can't come out, and taking away your job, taking away your ability to feed your family. All of this is happening, and nobody's even questioning it. Then you have your riots that went on first because they wanted to come out and go to the bar, whatever. And then other things. So everything is exacerbated by the microcosmic life that we've been living, and it just gives you too much time to dwell on.
We were on a high for a long time, and all of a sudden,
well,
it says here, we are social creatures. Social interplay and cooperation have fueled the rapid ascent of human culture and civilization. Yet social species struggle when forced to live in isolation, from babies to the elderly. Psychosocial embedding and interpersonal relationship is critical for survival. It is now more urgent than ever to narrow the knowledge gap of social isolation that impacts the human brain as well as the mental and physical well-being. So there's a gap there.
Yeah,
it's not being filled when you don't have people around you.
Right, and it was interesting that babies who are not nurtured have been shown to be unable to read body language. If you can't read body language, you're in big trouble for survival.
Yeah.
You don't know if a person means you harm or not.
Yeah, but this is a practice that's really been going on. The author here says loneliness has accelerated in the past decade. And I can see it. You know, we've isolated the old people, we isolated the young people.
And they moved away from the house, they moved away from the family,
and
they
some
retired.
of it's natural stuff. You know, I mean, when we were coming to the United States or coming to Canada the first time, we looked, where are the other Dutch people living? And the Polish people lived in the Polish area. The black people lived in the back.
Yeah,
this is a natural thing.
Well, people seek out someone with whom you're comfortable and familiar.
Yeah, naturally, you want to communicate, and that's what we're talking about here, communication.
Yeah. And but in addition, you have the separation of the generations that has gone on gradually. I mean, it started probably in the 50s or so. They retired to Florida, they retired to North Carolina, they retired. They went to Arizona, you know.
Also, the kid busing started around that time.
Yeah, well, separating our society on so many levels.
Yeah, and we did it under this guise kind of segregation itself, trying to end segregation, so we segregated people.
Well, we created, again, the law of unintended consequences. We created putting children on a bus to drive long distances when they could have walked to school. In the
fresh air, in your neighborhood, with your pals.
Know your friends in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything has two sides, or three sides, or four sides. And you're trying to do something, but sometimes we have a knee-jerk response that goes way too far in the opposite direction. Yeah. Or sometimes what we thought would really work just turns out to have other consequences that nobody dreamed of. Yep. And I think having people who are horribly battered and can't get out of the house and go to a shelter is an unintended consequence.
I would say so. Stick around, folks. We got a lot more. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive.
We take it every morning. Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the lightspeed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back. A new article here. Studies show why your decisions must rely on the past. Of course, this is the way our ancestors taught us things, through the stories, and most of them were verbal stories in the beginning, and then we started writing things down. The problem with writing things down is the victor writes their story, not the loser. And a lot of times there's important things to be learned from the loser also.
Yeah, but in addition to that, there's our brains function by making decisions based on past experience too.
Right.
And even on a much more local and small level, microcosmic level.
Yeah, it says whenever you make decisions, a network of specialized cells called neurons in your brain go to work to determine the best choice. And this is always built on the past. How do these neurons actually reach decisions? They rely on different parts of the brain to analyze our experiences and the context around the decisions. And then they work together before arriving at an ultimate decision, according to recent research. And of course, we always have relied on our elders if we don't have the answer ourselves. We went to somebody more experienced. But today, yes.
We're looking at television, or we're looking at Facebook, or we're looking at the crowd you see at school or at work. You look at what's popular.
Yeah, and the thing that's striking, what you mentioned during the break, is that I've actually made a decision to put a certain shoe on based on did this successful person wear it or something like that, and this comes from the advertising, and so we know that advertising works. And yeah, I mean, if I'm going to take a running shoe, I'm going to want a Jordan or something. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a natural reaction to stuff that we've seen in the past.
It's input that's become subliminal.
But
to some extent.
Those experience from the past commercials aren't necessarily something good for us.
Well, no, and instead of basing it on our personal experience, we're basing it on the bombarding information from the internet and from television and from everybody around us.
Right.
There's so much information out there and so many opinions. Everybody's got an opinion, that's for sure, on every subject. So. Yeah. It's interesting because we rely on our past experience. Our brain is still a very historical kind of organ, and it relies on past experience. You take from what you learned before and you try and apply it.
Well, the author here says when you have two coffee shops to choose from, no one telling you which one to go in, you must rely on your internal value in order to choose one over the other. We found that the RSC, which is this
retrosplenial cortex.
Right, which has previously not been studied in the context of value-based decision-making, showing that the strongest value information most persistently comes up over time. So putting it all together, the context around every decision we make has a significant impact on what we decide.
Yeah, it's an interesting example here because if you're going to cross the street, the first place you look is left because that's the lane that's closest to you. But in the UK, the first place they look is right because that's the lane.
Yeah, they drive on the different side of the street. Right. The wrong side, I would say. The researchers discovered that the ALM, after conducting an experiment with mice in which they had to remember a specific odor, after a brief pause, the researchers puffed a second odor over the nostrils of the mouse. If the odors matched, then the mouse would have to lick a tube and
on the left
and get the water. If two odors differed, it would have to lick a tube on the right. The researchers expected the primary brain process for success
would be the olfactory system, but
that's not what they found.
Yeah, that it was context instead of the ALM stands for what?
Yeah, that's in here someplace.
Somewhere in here, yeah. But it's a portion of the brain that is involved in decision making, and they thought that was that would be the important part of the brain, but it turned out if they disabled it, they couldn't complete the task. They couldn't get the water. They couldn't figure it out, and it was because it was contextual, meaning it depended on all of the factors involved, all of the things they had learned and everything in the environment and what was going on and everything before they could make the decision. There's another study here having to do with macaque monkeys. And the interesting thing about that study was that they found that the monkeys would basically consult with the entire group before making a final decision. People do that a lot these days, especially.
They had an interesting experiment with a monkey years ago where they trained this monkey to do a triple somersault off a tall branch in isolation. So then they put him in a cell with 15 or 20 other monkeys, and this monkey goes all the way to the top, does a triple somersault, goes down. All the monkeys are looking. Does it again, does it about 5 or 6 times. And then all of a sudden, one of the monkeys comes up and does it perfectly, boom. And then another one does it perfectly. And they learned from watching where this is something that, I relate to jiu-jitsu. And we have our instructor going over the thing, and when we get on the mat, we can't do that thing particularly, even if I watch them do it 15 times, I have to actually practice the thing to do it correctly. And here were these monkeys, and they were kind of, whoa, wait a minute, how does this work? How do they see something so, because they're in a physical work, maybe, I don't know, maybe we use our brains too much talking. I'm not sure what the answer is to it, but it was very interesting because each monkey did the trick without fail.
And without being taught. Without being taught.
It was just by watching the other monkey. Yeah, there was no talking involved, no instruction involved. They just knew. Maybe they were that in tune, and we aren't. I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's interesting that we have to really rely on the past, and if we lived in a village and we had an old Indian, we go to him and say, okay, we know there's a pandemic out there, what do we do? Maybe he had the answer, I don't know. But it seems like the authorities didn't. And I like what's going on now, but at least, because at least right now, we're the ones making the decisions, and I think that's the way. I want the people in authorities, in our government, to give us the information that we need so we can make the decision. Because if I fear for my life, I'm not going out.
Or at least make the information available like it is on the internet.
We
find all these studies and so on, and you have to be a little bit of a critical thinker and make decisions. But everybody has to make their own decision, too.
Right, and not be herded around by an authority figure. Or,
I worry about things like the social media, particularly Facebook is the one that I have any kind of contact with. We have a brand new great-grandbaby.
Right.
Great-grandbaby number 6.
Yep. And his middle name is Maverick.
Maverick, yes.
I love it.
Wesley Maverick.
Wesley Maverick.
Yeah.
Great name.
So he's born. He's on. I post him, and all my friends and relatives can see that we have a new great-grandbaby. We got lots of yay, congratulations, beautiful baby, all of that. It was just nice to be able to post something positive for a change.
Yeah.
on Facebook.
And of course, last Sunday was Father's Day, and my kids called me. A couple of grandkids called. We had great-grandkids giving me video. Hi, Grandpa, great-grandpa, stuff like that. So those types of things are really special, and that made it a special day. So we'll be back in a minute. We got a little bit more.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us, and Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the Morning Market Kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hinks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Welcome back. And the last thing we have here is the claim that this company, genetically modified mosquitoes, are cleared for release in the U.S. And the Environmental Protection Agency approved an experimental use permit May 1st that allows Oxitec to release genetically modified mosquitoes in the Florida Keys, in Harris County, Texas, and where Houston is. That's where Houston is. Yeah. To meet today's public health challenges head on, we're going to experiment with the public here. That's not what it says, but that's what it means, I think. The permit lasts 2 years, monitor and sample the mosquito population weekly. And the question you have is what? Yeah. So your question was?
My question is, if we, all right, the purpose of this genetically modified mosquito is to produce sterile females who cannot then reproduce, increase the population, and eventually to cause the collapse of this particular type of mosquito, which is, it's called the Aedes aegypti, and it's the one that causes Zika, dengue, yellow fever, all of those lovely diseases. Mm-hmm. So, but the question is, What happens if you collapse a mosquito population? What happens to the food source for things that eat mosquitoes?
Well, not only that, now they're eating GMO, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got birds and lizards and things like that.
Yeah, that eat mosquitoes.
Yeah. And what's the next mosquito that is going to come up and say, okay, we know that, the evolution path of the mosquito, maybe there's a little jump there, and now we have a more powerful one that comes out that is as big as a bird. I don't know what's going to happen, but we've watched all the movies before, right? Right. We've watched Alien, we've seen Jurassic Park. Right. We know these are...
We know what's going to happen.
Kind of. But this just makes sense, is that we don't experiment on the human public, and we also don't want to experiment on their food sources.
On the natural balance of the ecology of the earth, and,
So how it works is male mosquitoes don't bite, they feed on flower nectar. Basically, the male mosquitoes are harmless to you, but the females are the ones that bite us, and they use the blood from
And it's only this one strain of mosquitoes, so don't think you're going to not get bitten by mosquitoes when you go out into the wild.
See you next week, folks. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Be safe.